Hi everyone, I'm going out on a limb here, but I've decided to stop talking to myself and start sharing my thoughts with the internet, as any sane person would do. I'm going to share some opinions I have on 2024 Thai BL series that I watched this year. I didn't get to them all or nearly all of them because I spent most of my time rewatching things that I've already seen. Out of the many series that were released this year, I only watched 8 of them. And so I will be ranking them from my least favorite to my most favorite. Not necessarily what I think is best or worst. Number 8, My Love Mixup. My Love Mixup was not a series that I highly anticipated when I watched the trailer in the 2024 lineup, but it was one that I decided to give a try because I love Fourth and Gemini and thought that it looks cute. I'm not a fan of school dramas, so I should have known that I wouldn't enjoy it. It was a bit boring for me. I liked the characters. I thought they were all very enigmatic and unique and a bit dumb, but I appreciated that. I think the show portrayed young love in a realistic way, in that it's a lot of fumbles, a lot of confusion, a lot of mixed emotion, but I think it was a bit too rudimentary, and that Gemini Fourth have the potential to do so much more than just a simple, boring school drama, which is why I'm so excited for Ticket to Heaven in 2025. Sorry. Number 7, We Are. I got 14 episodes through We Are, and the reason I stuck with it for so long was because of portrayal of friendship, especially queer friendships. It was so important to me just to see these boys having fun together and being young and loving each other. How many of them are there? There's like 12 of them. It's a big friend group. But seeing them caring for each other and supporting each other in their relationships was my favorite part of the whole series. Other than that, I wasn't really compelled by anything. None of the couples stood out to me, except for maybe Tan Fong, but even then, they got barely any screen time, which is typical of Uboom. They never give them screen time. I came into the show for Q3 because I love Winnie and Satan, but I was sorely disappointed by their couple because they were just so surface level and their origin story was cute. I liked their little writing notes back and forth, but I didn't really feel like connection there. It didn't feel like a love story of all time. We Are in general was pretty hard to get through because it was a very thin plot and it was something that was probably GMMTV probably capitalized on the casting more than anything. Number 6, Love C. Although I watched only 2 or 3 episodes of Love C, I put it above My Love Mix-Up and We Are because I found it to be more interesting. I liked the rich author and scrappy island boy dynamic, and Fort and Pete have great chemistry, but I thought it fell into a lot of BL tropes such as tsundere, family trauma, one character saving another character and helping them through their trauma, which I normally like. It was kind of only focused on that, so it got kind of boring. The relationship felt a bit forced. Like it felt like it didn't come naturally, and it started out with him asking like, "How much do I have to pay you for sex?" which was weird to me. The GL couple I was really excited for. They felt even more forced. Like they felt like it was an obligation just to like put a GL couple in there. But again, I didn't get very far through it, so maybe my opinion doesn't matter. Number 5, Kidnap. I got pretty far through Kidnap. While I appreciated what it was trying to do, it felt, again, not very deep. It felt like it felt a lot more lighthearted and a lot more surface level than I wished it could be. I wish they could go more into the relationship between brothers, more into the relationship between Q and men. It was very inconsistent in plot, in that the kidnapping plot was interspersed with the romance and humor, and I feel like that's fine and that works as long as you do it in a cohesive way. But I feel like it didn't work together and it felt very disjointed. I wasn't really into it, so I was disappointed because I was excited for them to finally have a BL series that's a bit more mature, but the characters felt like they weren't really developing with time and experience, and that was frustrating for me because Ming kept doing things and not thinking about himself, only thinking about others, and while Q was not learning about his own self-worth either, like that was just frustrating, and hopefully that changed in the episodes that I didn't watch. I might pick this up again, but it was just disappointing overall because of how inconsistent the plot was and how elementary it felt. Number 4, Oney Good Day. Oney Good Day was one of my favorite series this year because I feel like we finally moved from high school and college toxic romances to more mature relationships where we communicate with each other. And I appreciated that about Oney Good Day. I felt like they were a green flag couple. Not all couples need to be green flag couples, but I think that it was nice to portray a healthy relationship for once. I think that there were some inconsistencies and the writing wasn't the best because shows directed by P. Golf never are, but I still love them and I still love what they tried to do. I wish that Wendy was a more complex character. Like they didn't really go into his issues and trauma and kind of just left it up for interpretation, which they didn't need to be so explicit about it, but I wish they had made him a bit more well-rounded instead of just being like single-faceted. Also, they could have gone deeper into his being a doctor thing. I think they could have shown like the toll that it takes on one. I wish they had talked more about Drake's Pluckow's asexuality, because that was an element that I wasn't expecting that we never see in BL or in media anywhere. So I think that there was a really great opportunity to expand on that, and they didn't. There were a lot of things about Oney Good Day that fell short, but I really liked the series overall. It's one of my favorites. It was just a feel-good show, and I appreciated that. Number 3, Only Boo. I'm so excited to talk about Only Boo because it is such a cute series. It made me so happy. Such a comfort show. But then there were also like themes of like grief and loss and growing up and having to choose between passions and interests and romance and people. And I think those things were all very real. I really appreciated the idol aspect and how like they showed that there's a lot that goes into that, a lot of things that fans don't see. Kang and Moo's relationship, so adorable. Like their chemistry was incredible. They're so young, but they're both such talented actors. I love Seeking. I'm so excited for them to be in 2 shows together in 2025. Honestly, I can't think of anything that I didn't like about Only Boo. Truly, it was an incredible series and made me really happy. Number 2, My Stand-In. Now, I mentioned earlier, and not all couples need to be green flag or healthy couples, and no, these two were not. I was on my toes the entire series. I think the series was very interesting and complex and dark and, oh, Ming is such a red flag. I think that it's interesting to show different types of relationships and not all those that are like necessarily healthy, but not, doing it in a Tarn type way. I think that there were times when the pacing was a bit inconsistent. Like, it just felt like a fishing rod where we were being reeled in and then reeled back out. And I don't know fishing terms. There was a lot of like back and forth, being pulled in, being pulled out. And I think that it was a bit frustrating at times because it just got so convoluted. But overall, I think this was a really well done series. Great acting. I wish Joe loved himself more. I wish Joe was a little more complex of a character. By having his relationships with other people, he was able to develop a bit. But I wish Joe developed at all throughout the show and learned to love himself more. I think that overall it was really well done. Chemistry was off the charts. The acting was great. And the story was very, very interesting. Kept me on my toes. Made me cry. Good stuff. Number 1, Jack and Joker. By no means was this a perfect show, and I don't actually think it was the best on this list that I have. I think Only Boo was the best. But Jack and Joker was one of the most interesting BL series I have seen in a long time. Not a long time, ever, because it tried to do so much. And I think that a lot of the times the writing, probably because it was done by the actors, was not the best. But I really appreciated what they tried to do, and I think that that's what made it my favorite. Like, I think having a BL series that is a lot more than just the relationship, a lot more than just it being BL, is really important. Like, having stories that just BL or romance is an element and not the entire thing is my favorite thing. And I love action, I love fist fights and knife fights, and I thought the looking into the complexities of the world of the rich was really interesting. Didn't love the conclusion of the action. I enjoyed the ending, but I didn't like how the action concluded. I think it was a good balance of action and romance and found family. It was definitely all over the place, but overall, I really appreciated their acting. I think that a lot of the side characters were very simple. And while I love them and I thought they were so silly, sometimes it felt a little bit misplaced within all of the heavy themes and the insane things that were happening. I think Jack and Joker's relationship was beautiful, or Jack and Joke's relationship is beautiful. However, I think that Jack was another character that could have been less one-dimensional. Jack didn't feel like he had a lot going on. Like, we have Joke, a wonderfully complex and flawed individual, and then Jack is here, doing the same things, making the same mistakes, and he just felt like a boring hero. But I think coupled with his chemistry with Ian's acting was great. Ian's acting was wonderful, and I think that he portrayed Jack well. But I don't think that Jack the character was all that compelling. But overall, my favorite series of 2024. I respect it so much for what it tried to do, and I think I had fun watching it. I was hooked. I cried. I laughed. I was very interested in what was happening, although it was ridiculous at times. But sometimes I'm here for that. Sometimes I'm here for a little bit of chaos. Thank you all for watching and listening. If you agree with me, say so in the comments. If you disagree with me, also say so in the comments. Like or dislike this video, I really don't care. I just wanted to put my thoughts out there because I've been holed up in my little hole talking to myself for too long. So thank you all for humoring me.